good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around this beautiful, beautiful world. Happy Friday. How are you doing? Put in the comments where you're watching it from today, how you're doing on Friday. Happy Friday. Today, we're going to talk about what exactly TEDx Coach do for you, what can do for you. So let's just jump in straight away. I want you to put also in the comments, what do you think the TEDx coaches do? And I'm gonna give you a tip here. There are 4 things what TEDx coach does. I do exactly four type of things for all my mentees, clients, doesn't matter how you call them. So let's see who is gonna be the first with the comments and tell me what would that be first thing what we do. So there are 4 things, giving you a tip. What is the first thing? It's gonna be a short live today. And I know that everyone is super, super busy on Friday and it's a lot of going on before you start your beautiful weekend. So let me know in the comments, what is the first thing what TEDx Coach does? Okay, so let's just check. I have not been like, I have a runny nose. Anyway, so let's just start. I'm going to tell you, if you think that number one thing what TEDx Coach does for you is teaching or mentoring, this would be absolutely wrong. So let me tell you, the first thing what I personally do for my clients is that I get to know you. It would be absolutely deserving you and me as well as a coach to not know who you are, what you do as a business, what do you want out of your TED Talk, what kind of goals you have, aims, outcomes, doesn't matter how you call them, you've got in your mind for your TEDx Talk. You have a reason why you want to do a TEDx, right? And through getting to know you, I actually know what is that aim, reason, outcome, what you expect, what is your topic, of course, what title and stories what you've got in your mind, and you always envision that when you stand on stage you're going to say this and this. These are the questions what I always first ask on the first session with my clients. So getting to know you is actually the first thing what TEDx Coaches does. Because if they don't do it, let me put it this way. I said deserving you and me as well. How can I help you with your TED Talk if I don't know what you do for business, what you do in personal life, what exactly excites you, why you want to do a TEDx? So this is super, super important as the first step. So we never start with teaching straight away. I can't. Because how can I teach you something if I have no clue who you are, what you do, but also who is your audience? This is so important. Let me just give you an example. By understanding and knowing who is your audience and who is the audience specifically for the TEDx Talk, what you're gonna do, then I know what kind of language to expect and to navigate later on for your script and for your talk, because your audience is driving the language in the TEDx Talk. So it's the first step, getting to know you is super, super crucial and super important as a start, and also a connection between a TEDx coach and a mentee. So number one, getting to know you. Step number 2, I don't see comments yet. So usually comments come much later. So please, if you're joining right now, put where you're watching it from. And also, what do you think TEDx Coaches does? Obviously, I gave you the first step, getting to know you. Here's the second step, training you. Obviously, of course, we're going to train you. But this is not like I put it in the post. Training you is not like being a teacher for you and explaining you roughly what you need to do and then giving you a lot of resources to go read and do a research and then come back with the answers. That is not what TEDx Coach does, okay? What I do as a training, and I tested so many different variations, trust me. What I do now is from 8 sessions, 8 hours together, I figure out that the best balance for training, specifically for training only, is actually 4 hours out of 8 hours. And I'll tell you why. And so the first session is always getting to already. But the second, the third, and the fourth sessions are actually teaching you how to write a script, how to stand on stage, what kind of body language you should do, what kind of voice intonation you should do, depending on what kind of stories you're saying. Natural poses. This is so important. They're called natural poses, but actually we put poses, and I'm not going to go into teaching right now. I'm just giving you examples so you can understand what kind of teaching and training we do as TEDx Coach. So natural poses are natural, but in reality, we actually put them on a very specific places because we aim two things. Either to bring attention back when you pose, you bring attention back to people's mind to be back in the room together with you, or you pose because, the second reason, because you want the people to digest what you are saying. This is so important. So this kind of teachings, I pack them in the 3 hours, 3 sessions, because each session is 1 hour. And so these are 3 sessions, and then one session, 1 hour, is purely teaching around social media strategies and creating the action plan, but also teaching how to do things. So yesterday, and I'm going to give you an example, I hope you don't mind, for Maria and for Magdalene, but yesterday I jumped on a session. By the way, that session doesn't happen before you are on TEDx stage. That session happened after you deliver your TEDx talk and before your TED talk is published on YouTube. So hope that makes sense. Put a yes in the comment or no. If it's a no, I'm going to explain a lot more. But the training sessions are not only before your TEDx day. That one last training session is actually on the day, 2 days, 3 days after the TEDx talk has been delivered. The reason why is because in that one training session, I explain what kind of social media strategies to do, what's going to serve you. So it's very narrow to the person, because some people want to do a business style TEDx talk, some people want to do personal style TEDx talk. So these are very different strategies, okay, for social media. Social media strategies aim is to attract as many people as possible to come and watch your talk in the first 48 hours and the first week after your TED talk is published. Because the moment when you gain this traction, this attraction as well, attracting a lot of people, that's when YouTube is actually saying, oh my God, this video is really like coming really engaged and it's engaging and people really are interested in it. Let me just push it to as many people as possible. That's when YouTube starts serving you and trigger all the hacks what we put together. But then the strategies are those which is teaching you how to start that snowball effect and rolling in the future. So this training is the very last training which happens after your TED Talk has been published, right? So the journey of a TEDx coach, I know this is not the topic right now, but I'm gonna just say it. The journey of a TEDx coach with you doesn't finish the day when your TED Talk is delivered. That journey finishes pretty much a month after your TED Talk is published, not delivered. That's a very different things. So going back to the 4 things what a TEDx coach does for you. So put a yes and a no, because I so far gave you 2 steps. Getting to know you, number 1 step. The second step, we teach, we do a training indeed, but that training is not like standard training, go and, find resources more and do homework. You do have homeworks, but these homeworks are very narrow to what exactly you have to do, like homework of writing down your script. I can't write down your script because I don't know your stories right. But then what happens is the third step, the third thing what a TEDx coach does for you, which is mentoring. Okay, so mentoring is the third thing, the third service what a TEDx coach does for mentors. So when I mentor, basically these are 2 different mentorings. The first mentoring style is when I really need to ask you powerful questions, and so powerful that I don't just get to know you, but I also get the answers which are so deep inside you that you didn't even see them. I can see some answers, but sometimes I ask questions after questions after questions. So the person, by answering those questions, the person actually realizes what is inside, taking it out. But the trick, and this is good mentors what they do, the trick is to for the person to say it out loud, because when we say something out loud, we're like, oh my God, this case been inside me for so long time. Now voicing it out is really like a huge bold moment, like huge aha moment. So this is the first style of mentoring, to ask questions so we can get that insights which lives inside you. Right? I hope that makes sense. And the second mentoring style is actually feedback. So I said 8 sessions, and 4 of them, like one of them is getting to know you, 4 of them are like teaching. But then the rest of those sessions is actually that type of mentoring, which is purely feedback. So what I ask the people is to literally, and we do it on Zoom, that is not a problem at all. I can tell it has been, like, I've been doing this for a long time enough to tell you that Zoom serves us perfectly fine. It's not, doesn't have to be Zoom, could be Teams, any of those like online platforms. So the person stands in front of a camera and perform their script. So here are a few things what I personally prefer to do, because it's really serving me and my mentees. The first time when I ask people to perform is actually to perform by reading their script, because when they first time read their script, and trust me, there's so many people coming and they say on that session 5 or session 4, don't quote me on that, but on that one session, the first time, actually it's on session 3. I do apologize. It's on session 3. I ask the people to read out loud their script. It's a still draft script, okay? It's not the final version. But when people read first time, this is priceless. It's what I'm looking for here, and this is part of the mentoring. The third step is to see how powerful it are those words for the person who wrote them down, but now they're voicing them out, because this is going to go on stage after this. It has to be powerful, right? But also I want to see the style. I want to see the style of that person reading out loud their own script, because they can read out loud the script. They can see where they can improve it. It's a huge wow moment when I ask this. So the first time when I mentor and I give feedback, I actually give feedback on a script which is read out loud. And then from there onwards, the rest of those sessions, 4, 5, 6, and 7, what I do is actually I ask people to perform on camera. That's not a problem at all. So good morning from Canada is saying, Gail, good morning, Gail. And you thought it started at 7:30. No, we started today, I think, on time. So I'm going to go to step number 3, mentoring. With that feedback, when I watch the people I work with as a coach, mentoring is actually huge thing. So I'm looking for the body language, for the voice intonation, for the poses. I'm looking for how the person is moving around, what kind of eye contact they do with imaginary audience in front of us. But I do want the people to practice how they're doing audience contact with the audience. So this is eye contact. So it's everything all together, and that is part of the teaching, of course. But I love teaching actually neuroscience, how the brain works to remember something, because we remember text, then we remember phrases, paragraphs. Then we remember the sequence between the paragraphs, and then we can add, after this, we can add body language, body gestures, then we can add the voice intonation and the natural poses. And the very last thing what we add is actually moving around stage. So these are very structured way of, that's why there are 3 sessions where I'm asking people to perform. So we first perform the text, so I know that the person knows the text. Then the next session we add the body gestures, then we add the voice intonation. So everything is like adding more and more with every session, because by the 7th session, I know that that person is ready to get on stage and is ready to deliver in full power, in full presence, but really enjoy it, not just stand there. So step number 1 so far, what TEDx coaches do is getting to know you. This is super important. Step number 2, teaching. Step number 3, what I just explained, is mentoring. And step number 4, which is the last one, let me just Gary saying, love your coaching style since you have such diverse background and you're a great TEDx supporter too. Yes, thank you so much. I love supporting TEDx speakers. Absolutely. Neuroscience for my curiosity brain. Oh, love it. Love that. Okay, step number 4 is actually very important. So let's see if you can guess. So far we covered getting to know you, teaching, and mentoring. What is the 4th thing what TEDx coaches does, or they should do? Well, I do it for my mentees. So let's see, Gail, you are online. Let's see if you can kind of guess. Well, you've been on my training on the TEDx challenges, what I do, and we covered it. So that's gonna be very easy for you. Okay, there is always a delay with the comments, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna tell you the step number 4. I'm gonna call it hands-on, right? Help. So what I help with my mentees is something I do every day. I don't just teach social media strategies, okay? I don't just preach, I also do them. What was the thing? It's not just preaching, but it's not just teaching and preaching, but also doing it. I don't remember what is the phrase, but what I do on social media every day is actually when I see any of my clients that they struggle to write a post, they struggle to choose the right hashtags, they struggle to find the best podcast they want to get on and how to get on those podcasts. They struggle to do initial request messages. They struggle to do personalized messages where they're gonna really, I don't want to say, they're gonna share their TED Talk, and they'll be like, please watch my TED Talk once the TED Talk is published. People sometimes struggle to write these messages. What I do is hands-on. I sit down and I write those posts, I write those messages, I choose those hashtags, I do the research to know the hashtags. So it's a combination between TEDx hashtags and whatever it is. Might be a business hashtags for that specific topic. If it's a business TED Talk, it might be a personalized topic. So therefore it's like personal, I'm going to call them personal hashtags, but let's say non-business related hashtags, right? So hands-on is the 4th very crucial element what TEDx coaches really need to provide as a service. Okay, so it's super important to not just to hold your hand through the process, but once your TED Talk is published, really what TEDx coaches should do is, and I do it constantly, for a month after the TED Talk has been published, is to constantly go and check that the posts are performing well, the video is performing well on YouTube, that we've got X amount of views in the first 24 hours, in the first 48 hours, in the first week after it's published. And if something is going wrong, hands on, I'm one of those people who is like, okay, let's do this. So we have an action plan to cover on the day when it's published. But then everything else is like, we have a rough plan, and we have like extra things what we can plug in straight away to enlarge the snowball, because the moment when 48 hours are gone, that snowball is going to start rolling. So we want that snowball to be as big as possible. And when it starts rolling, obviously it's going to get bigger. So let me just explain instead of just teaching you. For example, what I saw is that if in the first 48 hours, a TED Talk gets to 2,000 views, roughly 2,000 views, plus minus 100, 200 views, right? Then it's very easy. That snowball effect is gonna get you to about 100,000 views in the first 1 month. This is what I'm talking about. But to get to 1,000 views in the first month, you actually have to get to 2,000 views in the first 48 hours. That's the action plan. This is the social media strategies I'm talking about, I'm teaching, and then I put my hands on. So going back to the topic today, what exactly a TEDx coach do for you? What kind of services? The 4 services are: number 1, getting to know you as a person, you as a business, what you do, what is your aim, what is your goal, and everything. Number 2, teaching, not the standard teaching as teachers, but really teaching you what serves you in the shortest time possible. Number 3 is mentoring in 2 different ways. Mentoring is to get the best out of you, but also giving you the feedback, which is gonna really get you to a successful TED Talk when you stand on stage. And number 4, I called it hands-on service, right? But it's really important, not just to walk, but also not just to talk, but also walk. So it's super important to get that shoulder by shoulder journey and get to the success. And honestly, I'm gonna explain it this way. For 19 years, I have been running so many different projects, and every time when I leave the company, because it's like a project or program which has specific timing, and once obviously the project is done, we stay for let's say 2 or 3 weeks after we go live. And what we do after this, we just leave and we start another project. For 19 years, it's kind of heartbreaking, but I never stayed long enough with all these 200 plus companies I help with business transformations to see the fruits, to see the results, and to be like super happy and enjoy that time when people are really happy to use what I implemented. Now with TEDx, I just stay with my clients for really like a month after the TEDx, and I can see that joy in the eyes, and we always talk much after this, but I love seeing the messages like, oh my God, my talk. Dr. Kuram, a few days ago, he texted me on WhatsApp like, good morning, my talk is now on 250,000 views. I was like, yay! It's super joyful. So I'm gonna leave you with this, as I'm just blurbing around. I'm gonna leave you with this: the 4 services what a TEDx coach does: getting to know you, teaching, mentoring, and hands-on service for you. This is super important. I'm wishing you an amazing Friday. I'm sending you a lot of love and a lot of energy wherever you are around this beautiful world. And I'm gonna see you next Friday live. But meanwhile, I'm gonna see you on all my posts on LinkedIn.